O Great Spirit, Namaste. Saints and sages of all times, of all places, Namaste. O ye pathmakers of old, Namaste. Ancestors of our bloodlines, and all of the lineages to whom we attune, Namaste. Most beloved Lord of life, in all of thy names and all of thy forms, Namaste. We call upon thee to be with us today, to sweep clear our paths. May our communication be clear. May we hear that which needs to be heard, speak that which needs to be spoken, and understand that which we need to understand, to find the doorway, the path, the shore of ever greater happiness and contentment. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, Elena. Shanti. Let us begin again. Namaste. Welcome to my heart, and welcome to our Sunday meditation. There once was a boy. There once was a girl. There once was a humanoid. They were young. And when they were young, they played as children. They grew. As they grew into teenage years, they lived as teenagers. As they became young adults, they let go of their childish ways. They no longer ran to the door with their arms wide open, saying, "Oh, Mom, you're here, you're here. Oh, Papa, you're here, you're here." They came to the door with great dignity and said, "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad." They grew. They had their own families, their own children. And they let go of the old and picked up new habits. But one day, the man, or the woman, whichever you prefer, crossed a threshold. Kriya Yoga, it's called a time gate. The karma changed. And they had spent all of these years, decades and decades and decades, believing in one way, practicing one way, living their life in one way. And the doorway came, and the door opened, and the time gate changed. And what was good for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, no longer worked for them. They were not in the same universe, if you prefer, the same world, if you prefer. And it became very disorienting, depressing. And the persons judged themselves immensely. I wish I could tell you this was unique to one individual, but it's not. It happens to every soul. We walk through our lives and hit what we call in Kriya the Saturn return at age 28, 27, 28. And all of those values that we had early on shift. We have a different set of values. And then we go along another period of time with expectations about how our life is going to be. 15 years later, 20 years later, and all of a sudden we see it's not how I thought it was going to be. It's not how I expected it to be. Now there's a problem in the way that we're trained, most of us today, and that is that we're not really given early training as children, as young children. We're not really given early training to turn inward. We're not really given early training on meditation. There is a cultural expectation around the world of doing. Whether you do to honor your family, to take care of your family, to meet their needs, or you do for your own name and fame. Whether everything in your life is focused on how your actions affect the reputation of your family, affect others in your family, or, as often as in America, what your actions, what your achievements, if you will, how they will affect how others look at you. Now, this is not the way of life. It is the way of life, unfortunately, but it is not the way to deep happiness. And what happens? You reach your late 30s, your 40s, your 50s, and all of a sudden you say, this isn't like I thought it was going to be. Life is not like I thought it was going to be. What the heck? I wasted all this time. I don't know what I would have done differently, but I wasted all this time. The answer is no, you didn't waste that time. You have not wasted your life. You have not wasted time. You have had a series of experiences. Maybe you walked a certain path and the path is no longer useful for you. You remember the story. One of my very favorite stories. Once upon a yogi time, there was a guru, and he had a disciple. She had a disciple, and it was a very special moment in time coming up. Beautiful moment of blessing that was going to come. And she said to the disciple, I'm going to go ahead. I'll meet you at the top of the mountain in 3 days. Be there. Be there at sunrise. It's very important. You must be there at that time so I can give you this blessing which will change your life. You have worked so hard for this. Come. I'm going to give you a big blessing from the lineage. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. Thank you, Guruji. And the Guru picks up a bag, a little bit of water in it, and walks off. Walks up the mountaintop. Well, the disciple spends the next 6 hours packing a bag with everything that he thinks he's going to need. Starts along the way. And as he walks, he picks stuff up. So the Guru gets up to the top of the mountain, sunrise of the second day. He's sitting there, thinking, well, maybe my disciple will come early. And won't that be nice? We could have a little meditation here on the top of the mountain. Sun comes up, no disciple. The moonrise comes up, moon is full, and the Guru's thinking, oh, this is just, the disciple's going to be here, and it's going to be just lovely. I can hardly wait to give them this blessing. They've earned it. It's been so long, so hard. Sunrise, morning of the third day, when the disciple's supposed to come, no disciple. The Guru waits. A few hours past sunrise, and noon comes up, and she says, well, that's it. I can't wait any longer. The door has shut. She starts down the mountain. Smash, 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 smash. laughs and takes a drink and, what is that? She looks down the path, and here's the disciple schlepping this big raft up the hill through the forest. Just barely able to walk. It's so heavy, it's so big, it's so heavy. The guru says, what's going on? What happened here? What are you doing? You didn't tell me I was going to come to a stream. I had to build this raft, and I had to build it to be able to get across the stream. Okay, well, I got across without that, but all right. Maybe the water went up. Why are you carrying it? You know, you're late. I might have needed it along the way. What if there was another stream I had to cross? What would I do? Oh. Put the raft down, disciple. And the guru very kindly and lovingly gave the disciple some water and said, you know, you missed the boat. You carried that raft all the way up the hill, but you missed the boat. And the disciple said, I thought I needed it back there. It worked for me back there. I thought I might need it again. Well, you were wrong. Had you left that boat, that raft, down by the stream, you would have been here on time. But you're late. Well, can't you give me the blessing anyway? Can't you give it to me anyway? I know you could give it to me anyway. C'est la vie. The door is closed. Perhaps it will open again another lifetime. Maybe even this lifetime. 12, 24 years from now, 28 years from now. And the disciple was very upset. And the guru said, you need to contemplate. Think about this. What are you carrying in your life? What beliefs are you carrying in your life that served you well? What practices were you doing that served you well when you were doing them? And the doorway opened and you felt that they didn't serve you anymore. Have you let them go? Or are you still feeling guilty or like you have wasted your life because you did those for a period of time? You know, and I know, we've all had these experiences. You spend your life 20 or 30 years working someplace, following a tradition, being in a relationship with someone, and the time gate closes and it's no longer, it's ended. The karma has ended. Everything that begins on the earth plane, everything that is manifest on the earth plane has a beginning. And in that beginning is an ending. And in that ending is the seed of another beginning. And the problem that we have is there's a beginning and then there's the ending. And then instead of saying, what's the seed of the new beginning? We say, oh, what was wrong with me? I wasted my time. And the answer is, neti, 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 neti. You did not waste your time. Have you learned from it? Did it serve you at that time? Today, the sun is in Pisces, a symbol of the consciousness of intuition, of one's intuition. But the moon is in Virgo, which is analytical. Detail-oriented. And really, quite unfortunately, self-critical. And so the key here, self-critical, fault-finding is the word, finding fault with oneself and finding fault with others. And the other state of consciousness that is not very helpful is feeling of inferiority. Everybody else can do it better than me. And so today we have to say, well, boy, this is, a tough one. How do I learn to let go? Turn inward and turn up and say, I need to know what is right for me, for my life. See, what I tell you is right for my life. It's not right for your life. I don't know your life. You know your life better than anyone else. But in knowing your life, you need to say, all right, what is the path that is most harmonious for me at this time? You hear me? Please. We live in kala. We live in time. At one time, I had 3 disciples who were all mothers of young children. Their children were all around the same age. And at this time, they were all children who were, 4 to 8 years old, if you will. And inevitably, a mother would come to me and she would be upset because she didn't have enough time for doing certain things in her spiritual practice because she had to take care of her children. And when those 3 disciples had babies, they were really upset because they had to really take care of their children. And at the same time, they felt guilty. No. Your sadhana, your spiritual discipline, is to take care of your children as best as you can with as much loving kindness and compassion and wisdom as you can. Make every single part of your day seva, service. A soul has been chosen you to be born as their mother or their father. That's quite a piece of karma. Your karma for that time is to make your actions, your sadhana. Your whole life is to make your actions at that point in time your sadhana. And this must begin with letting go of your self-criticism, letting go of those feelings of inferiority. It's been very interesting to me over the years. I've had a great opportunity to had many people come and talk to me, or I've talked to them in work situations. And over and over and over again, people who look successful in the terms of the world, presidents, vice presidents, senior vice presidents, chairmen, all these titles, right? Consistently will come and say, I have an imposter syndrome. I remember the first time I heard that. It's a gentleman that I worked with, and I said, the imposter syndrome, well, what is that? He said, oh, you don't know. They're going to find out that I'm not who they think I am. I'm not as smart as they think I am. I'm not as good as they think I am. That I'm just faking my way through all of this. And isn't that interesting? I really looked at him and I said, I can still see his face. And I said, oh, I don't think that you have to worry about that. Yeah, I do. And don't ever tell anybody. I said, oh, don't worry. I'll never tell anybody. Now here I've told you, but I haven't told you his name. Don't do that to yourself. We all do it. And we all have to correct the mind habits. What I think of you what your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your friend, the guy down the street, the person at the grocery store, it doesn't matter. It is what you see when you look in the mirror, what you see when you sit down and you say, oh, can I see my goodness? In Buddhist philosophy, there's a concept called divine grace. And this is the capacity to see the goodness in oneself. This is the capacity not to talk about it, not to brag about it at all, ever, 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 but to be able to see, oh, within me, I have the capacity for great compassion. I have the capacity for great kindness. I have the capacity to help make a difference in life. Divine grace is the capacity that you have. You have the ability to see that within yourself. You don't have to wave it to the world. In fact, you shouldn't wave it to the world. You shouldn't talk about it to the world. You shouldn't say, here's all my good deeds. But oh, to be able to look within and say, oh, yes, I have been able to make a difference. Yes, I was able in that moment to find compassion for that person rather than judging and worrying about what they were going to think about me. Too often the mind goes, and you think that the experience the other person is having is all about you. You know, I've seen this very keenly recently, several people being in the hospital, quite ill. And other people wanting to know, well, how are they? How are they? How are they? How are they? You know, when their family is ready to say how they are, they will. Don't place those thoughts there. Instead, place your thoughts here. Call upon the divine ones to bless them. As my guru would say, don't be nosy. Just don't be nosy about it. Say, okay, you know, when it is time for me to know, I will know. In the meantime, I'm going to do something. I'm going to pray. And if they don't respond to a note, if they don't respond to a call, don't take it personally. You know, the path, my beloved, is not a super highway. It's not a super highway. The path is a way of living for you. A way of living that is right for you. It is the climate that you live in, if you will. The environment you live in. The people you surround yourself with. The thoughts you surround yourself with. The symbols you surround yourself with. The path begins with contemplation. With stopping. What am I doing now? How am I living my life now? Some of you have lived with or are living with, at this moment, feelings of self-doubt. Some are living with sadness, depression, which can be a very physiological condition to live with, very, very, very definitely physiological. Within whatever condition you're living in, there's always hope. Always hope. The sun's going to rise the next day. Although they tell me in Norway that it doesn't rise as readily as it does in other parts of the world, certain times of the year. Other times of the year, it's there all the time. The key for you is to recognize that your path at this time At this time of your life, your path entails a certain way of living. Slow down. Slow down. Slow down. Give yourself a rest. Stop and rest. Stop and breathe. Lift yourself. Now, in that breathing, in that resting, in that period of in between, you need to take time and ask yourself this question. How kind am I to myself? How kind are you? How kind are you to yourself? Do you know what is good for you? What is good for your spirit? What's good for your soul? What's good for this physical body? Do you know? My body loves the taste of chocolate. You still love the taste of chocolate? Let's say I still love the taste of chocolate. I love the taste of chocolate. But it's no longer this body. It's no longer harmonious with the body. So you don't eat chocolate. Just because you like it doesn't mean that the time gate is there for it anymore. That's all. We cannot be sad when the time changes, when the time gate changes and something that was in our life leaves. Too often we spend too much time in regret, too much time worrying, too much time being sad about what is no longer. Everything that has a beginning has an ending, and in that ending is the seed of a new beginning. There is the seed of a new beginning, a seed of a new way of being. Know that. Let go of your sorrows. Now, this whole business of feeling inferior, this whole business of feeling you're not good enough, is linked to an idea of love. It's a problem we all have to overcome, that as we grow up, as we mature, we must deal with. For when you're born, you need someone to take care of you. And so we have these kinds of love. I'll love you if. I love you because. I'll love you if you smile. I'll love you if you're kind, if you're sweet, if you do what I want you to do. If you do what I want you to do, I'll make sure that you get food. I'll make sure that you have clothes. I'll make sure you're safe. I love you because you make me giggle, you make me laugh, you make me happy. I love you if you get good grades. I'm proud of you if you get good grades. I'm proud of you if you succeed at gymnastics or swimming. Not everybody can be first. Not everybody can get first prize. We must let go of this idea of comparing ourselves to another and feeling that we must do X, Y, and Z in order to be accepted. Accept yourself. Accept yourself. There's a really wonderful tradition in India that to me is quite remarkable. You can go to medical school. You go to the first year of medical school and you don't finish. But you can hang out your shingle and say, Mr. Rao, completed year 1 medical school. Mr. Rao completed year 3 medical school. Mr. Rao completed medical school, exam failed, final exam failed. Or, final exam passed. But to me, the idea that you could go to India and in some other countries and on the continent of Africa, and the fact that you had been to school at all is something to be celebrated. Not that you were the top of your class, not that you, had a completed degree or that you passed all your exams, but that you went and studied and you were able to take what you had studied and help people because you knew a little bit more than they did. Now, I don't know any place in America that would be, or in India, or excuse me, in Europe or the Norwegian countries, the Scandinavian countries, where that would be acceptable. But isn't that wonderful? Isn't that a wonderful idea? You accept what you have, you accept the joy that you have, the skills that you have, and you work on improving them. The first and most important thing, I'm going to say it for the third time, at least, is to begin with kindness to yourself. I'm not talking about being selfish. I'm not talking about being egocentric. I'm not talking about being braggadocious. I'm talking about being kind to yourself. If somebody wants you to stay up late and watch a movie you don't want to watch, and you need to sleep. I love you. I've enjoyed your company. I need to go to bed. I need to sleep. I need to rest. It's okay to say, I need to rest. Become absorbed in your studies. Find something that you study that you love and become absorbed in that. And every single time that the thought arises in your mind of self-criticism, neti, neti, neti. Every single time a thought arises in your mind of criticism of another, neti, neti, neti. Let go of that criticism. Let go of that criticism. Neti, neti, neti. Do you hear me? Every single time that this type of thought arises, you must correct it. You must do something about it. And if you goof and you don't do it, don't get nuts about it. Just do it the next time. This is the key in our tradition of Kriya Yoga is all our practices begin with focusing at the sun center, the most harmonious, balanced place to focus. You do not need to whip yourself. You do not need to criticize yourself. You need to assess where you are. Don't beat yourself with a wet noodle, or with anything for that matter. When you see that you've missed the boat, well, as Pranananda would say to me, don't worry about it, Swamiji. You're going to get another swing at the bat. Life is cyclical. It'll come around again. Maybe not as soon as you'd like, but it'll come around again. Don't worry about it. What would I do better the next time it comes around? What will I do differently so that I don't repeat the same mistake again and again, or what I perceive as a mistake? You have the capacity to be kind to yourself. You have the capacity to be more compassionate towards yourself. Maybe you can't begin there. Try being a little kinder and more compassionate with everybody who's around you. Speak more softly. Stop and think about how your voice sounds when you respond to someone. Stop and think about the words you're using. Stop and think about the impact of what you're saying. Stop and think about whether you need to open your mouth or whether your silence is enough to support them, to bless them, to help them. Think about it. I mean, really, the practice of gaining compassion requires reflection, requires letting go of your judgmentalness of others. Let go of envy, let go of jealousy, let go of anger. Please let go of the anger. Let go of greed. If they have something, they've worked very hard to get it. If you want it, you can work very hard to get it also. But don't carry the boat, the raft, that you no longer need because you just might need it again in the future. Many of you are at crossroads at this time and are facing the crossroad of a certain time of life where you say, well, boy, I spent all those years doing that. What for? It's not of any value to me anymore. My beloved, you need to look at those times in your life and say, what skills did I gain? What did I learn? How did it benefit me? And then bless and bless and bless everyone who brought that into your life. Whether you value them or not anymore, bless them. You drew those experiences into your life for some reason. It was important on your path. It's your path. We have similarities, but it's all unique. You'd be amazed, all the Capricorns have very similar paths, very similar experiences. All the Sagittarians, all the Aries, all the Taurans, all the Pisces, etc., etc. All the Scorpios, all 12 signs of the zodiac. We all have similar experiences, but not the same. Transform, transmit, lift up, so that you are not nitpicking. Don't nitpick. I have a dear friend who's an artist and a yoga teacher and a lineage holder, somebody I great deal of respect for. But he has a son in Virgo. Beautiful creations he can make. I mean, beautiful teachings, beautiful music that he's written and art that he's done. But I'll tell you, for years, he'd finish something and it would be done for a nanosecond. And he'd find something that needed to be corrected. And I'd say, oh man, it's beautiful. Can't you just enjoy it for a minute? These days now he can. He's learned. He can let it go. He can enjoy it. But it was a struggle for him. And as I saw him struggle, I thought, that too is me. That too is you. This is not the world of perfection. If it is, we wouldn't be here. I would like to lead a meditation now. And to say to you, please, I said you need to be kinder to yourself. And I'm going to give you a method, just a small method. Raise your consciousness above your mind, above your crown center, 18 inches. And watch what's going on as you speak, as you think. But this method is very specific. Every time you think a thought and get ready to speak something that is self-critical, stop it. Before you ask a question, let go of the adjectives. Let go of the adjectives. Oh, this question is no, no, no. Just ask the question. Oh, I did such a blankety, blankety, blank adjective thing. No. Let go of the adjectives. Let go of the self-criticism. Learn to speak without the self-criticism and learn to speak without the criticism of others. But the first is to let go of your own self-criticism. Do you hear me? You must learn to negate that habit and replace it with positive, affirming, neti, 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 and then replace it with something beautiful. An affirmation, if you will. And a great help in this is the beautiful affirmation. Free me from my negative thoughts, that I do not pass them on to others. Free them, free me. Free them from their negative thoughts, that they do not pass them on to me. Free me, free them. Keep repeating it. Repeat it when you wake up in the morning. Repeat it at noon. Repeat it every time you drink water. Repeat it when you go to sleep at night. And you will begin to see the effect of the practice. Thank you for the blessing of your presence today. And let us meditate. Sit with your spine erect and the hands in the Om Mudra. Turn your head to the left, exhaling twice. Bring the head back to the center and begin to watch the breath. Use the sipping breath and pull the energy from the limbs to the trunk. And now from the trunk to the spinal column. From the base of the spine up to the sun center. And move that energy as a golden ball of light out in front of you. Sweep it around to the left 3 times, encasing your body in golden light. Expand that golden ball of light and now ascend above the room you're in, above the building you're in. Ascend to the high place. Reaching the high place, you find yourself in the grove of the meditators, at the base of a mountain. See the path leading up the mountain. Enter the path and ascend. Ascend through the forest. ascend. See the sunlight dappling through the trees. Hear the water running next to you as you ascend. Path opens up, and you can see a meadow in front of you, teeming with life. Birds, butterflies, flowers, crystals, colors of all sorts. Walk through the meadow. Ascend. Return to the high forest, the firs and evergreens. The forest is cool. Ascend. A brilliant light in front of you. The path opens. A shrine in front of you. Breathe the light. Enter the shrine. It is perfect for you. Walk to the back of the shrine. There's a pool of light being fed by a waterfall of light. Enter the pool. Let all of the old wash away. Walk under the waterfall of light. The light pours down upon your crown center, over your entire being, through your entire being, covering and filling every cell of your being with light, washing away the heavy karmas, washing away all of the negativity, the self-confining negativity, cleaning, washing, uplifting. Te Betsu Devaya, Te Betsu Devaya, Te Betsu Devaya. Breathe in the light. walk forth from the light. Refreshed anew. Walking back to the pool, through the shrine. As you leave the shrine, the Divine One is there waiting for you. Your chosen form, your Ishta Devata, the divine that is precious to you, loving, compassionate. Your Ishta reaches out its hand to you, and you take hold of the hand of the divine. Together you ascend to the top of the mountain. You come to the top of the mountain, and you see a cave entrance. You ask your Ishta to stand in the entrance to the cave. The Divine One fills the entrance to the cave. And from the Jupiter center of your Ishta projects forth a golden egg of light. Your Ishta comes to stand by you. As you watch together, the golden egg of light grows. And Prema Yogi emerges. That singular, precious, divine one whose dharma is to bless. You hear Prema breathing a special Kriya. Pramahamsa, only breathed by Prema. As Prema inhales, Pramaham, all of the difficult karmas of the world are drawn in. As Prema exhales, Prema Sa, Anandic bliss radiates forth. You and your Ishta bow to Prema Yogi. And Prema bows back to you, continuing to breathe. And as you watch the brilliant light of Prema Yogi merges into the mountaintop, becoming one with the mountain, you hear the breathing continue. And you know that Prema will breathe this Kriya, sending forth blessings unto all life until this mountain becomes a grain. Taking hold of the hand of your Ishta, together return to the high place of meditation. O ye powers that be, join with us as we share our meditative energies for those in need. As we enter our meditative prayer, focus your attention gently at the sun center, the point between the eyes. With each petition, each Om Shanti, 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 radiate forth your blessings. O ye powers that be, thou knowest better than we that which is needed. We call upon thee as we send these petitions to send the blessings swiftly, surely, and most harmoniously. For Mother Gaia herself, the earth upon which we live, may she be blessed with all that is needed as she holds all of these souls upon her breast, as she nurtures and sustains us. May she be blessed. Om Shanti. 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 For all of those souls living with housing insecurity, food insecurity, schooling insecurity, financial insecurity, healthcare insecurity. May the way be swept clear, harmoniously, swiftly, and surely, that they have that which is most needed. Om Shanti. 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 For those who are living upon the earth with a hardened heart, may their heart be softened. Om Shanti. 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 For all of those who are leaving the earth plane, may they remember their goodness. May they let go of the old. May they see their goodness. May they be filled with the divine grace of seeing that which is within them. Om Shanti. 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 For all of those who are entering the earth plane, may they remember their past good deeds. May their incarnation be harmonious and be blessed. Om Shanti. 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 For all of those helpers in all of the realms, for those who sweep clear the path, who help us to lift, to ascend, to walk through the karma more easily, may they be blessed. May our beings be filled with gratitude for the help that pours forth upon us. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Be thou blessed, be thou blessed, be thou triply blessed. Feel the golden dewdrops of Anandic bliss pouring down upon your crown center at this moment. Ananda, 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 da, da. Sup upon the bliss. Hold the sweetness and share that sweetness with all who enter your aura. Namaste. Namaskar. I thank you for the blessings of your presence. I thank you for the blessings of your meditative energies. Truly, 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 you are a blessing. Know that. Remember it. Be happy. Your path is your path. Don't let anyone criticize you for living your life the way you feel is right. Namaste, Ji. And again, thank you for your beautiful, beautiful meditative blessings. Shanti.